All right, today we are talking about the figurative language term idiom. I think that you will find this hopefully pleasurable, enjoyable, especially as we look through with the videos and the examples, the different types that are out there. You hear these all the time. You might even use several of them, and you never know why or where it came from. But there is a word there for them, and it's called an idiom. And as you see the definition, it's an expression in which the words don't mean exactly what they have stated, which means just because the words are there, it isn't a literal, means literally it's not that. So look at the example. I thought the math test would be hard, but it was a piece of cake. Now, if we were taking the literal approach here, you're telling me that the math test was actually a piece of cake to eat. And that's not, but I'm sure you've heard that before and maybe even said it. Hey, how was that test? Oh man, it was a piece of cake. It was nothing. And that's just what that means. And as you see there, the idiom is that it just shows that something is just really easy to deal with. And different nationalities have their own, idioms and phrases and meanings for words. And then these are the English language version, which you can imagine somebody learning English as a language, a second language, and they hear and they read piece of cake. And unless they have that exact idiom in their language, that could be kind of challenging. So, again, this is just, again, it doesn't mean exactly what it says. There is an alternate meaning to it. Okay, and so that's a great example to come back to see that. So with this, there are a few videos here that you can click in order to go through and watch them in the slides, YouTube links. You'll see idioms in movies and TVs. There's some clips from Lion King and Simpsons. You'll pretty much get the drift. If you need that review, if you need that additional exposure to it, check those out at your leisure. They're kind of fun, but overall, I don't think a majority of people need them unless you were hearing idiom for the first time, which most of us are not. So take them, use them as needed, and enjoy them. Today's activity is short and sweet and not a lot of writing like some of the earlier ones were. And you can find those here in the packet. And so we want to focus on reading the sentences, and there's a blank at the end. And they want you to take each one of those. Let's see, there are 9 there. Oh, you're not going to use them all. Excuse me. So you're going to use 6 of the 9 that are in there, and try to fill in the gaps and try to figure out which one fits in. And then what's the meaning? And if you need to figure that out as to, well, what do you mean what the meaning is? Well, come back and check out the sample, because that's how these packets were designed. So the effect would be what you would want to write in that particular space. And so that should be pretty simple, but take your time. Process of elimination. You can delete the ones you don't need or cross them out, bold them after you use them. So something. You use your imagination there. The next page, again, this is analyzing idioms. They're given to you. And who says those idioms in the bubble? So what kind of people would say, who let the cat out of the bag? I knew I wasn't out of the woods yet. It's the best thing since sliced bread. And if you need to go online, like I've never heard those before, go online and do a search for them, and you might find some interesting information out there. But I want you to focus on what situation. Why does this person, he or she, say this particular information? So what type of character says it? And then what usually is the situation? So that's what you want to focus on. And then down at the bottom, there's a paragraph with blanks in it. So just put the letter of the correct idiom. You don't have to retype the idiom. Just put a letter in the appropriate spot. And then Then the final sentence, write a final sentence. So you have to write one sentence in this whole thing, and put in an idiom that was not used. So you don't have to create one, just use one of them that hadn't been used and plug that in there. So again, check the videos, ask questions if you need help, but everything should be right there, and this should be a fun one, and use the resources as needed. Thanks.